Oh man, the half of it more like a whole good film.
Oh my god, Jesus.
All right. So we're doing spoilers for the half of it. Okay, so to get into that, I think is an interest. It will be an interesting sort of discussion to have, because they have a really good dynamic in these two characters, in Ellie and Paul, at the very start. And you sort of start thinking like, oh, this guy's such an idiot, but he has a good heart. And just there's so many good scenes, like even the ping pong scene where Ellie is seeing this as a chore, because it is a chore because she's getting paid to do it, and I completely understand that. They're having like a conversation that he's set to have later, and he's like, okay, well, he asked her that question in return. She's like, oh, well, I don't have to answer what you're talking about. And he's like, well, it would be like a weird conversation. And that's slowly like them cracking and realizing like, okay, there's a genuine friendship here that they're building. And like y'all were saying, it's not often shown of two of the opposite sex sort of becoming like soulmates for each other, but not in a romantic way. It's just meant to be together as friends. That becomes a little bit confusing for the character of Paul. And the part that I was going to mention that girlfriend had a little bit of this, all homophobic.
Yeah. I don't think.
What did you think about that choice?
I don't think he was actually homophobic. I think they just grew up in a place where like that's all he's ever heard and known. So I kind of liked that because it just shows that like you can grow up just hearing something. So like that was just like his automatic gut reaction until he like actually thought about it and thought about her and like came up to his own conclusion of like, oh, there's actually like nothing wrong with this and this is still my friend and nothing's changed.
And he even went on like WikiHow to figure out
Wikipedia, what is gay?
What is gay? That's me at 13 years old.
I completely agree with you, Lindsay. I found it because you are in this city where canonically dad can't get a good job because he doesn't speak English well. And I think that's saying stuff about like starting to set some of the groundwork. I know what my girlfriend had mentioned is that it doesn't really make him seem like super, super Christian, if that makes sense, where that would be like a huge, like, that's a sin, like, so, but
right, exactly.
Again, you're right, it is so, it's been taught, like, his whole life, and it is even more important that get this scene of him hacking his laptop, like, what is gay, is not being like, what are you doing? And being like, oh, nothing.
Right,
like,
yeah.
And a little bit of it might have been that he was hurt, which is like a perfectly normal thing to do. I get not like fling about homophobia, but you know.
Yeah, just be a little hurt, yeah.
Yeah. Just a little bit spiteful.
Yeah, but I also do think it wasn't like a hateful, like that's a sin. It was more just like taken aback, like, oh, but that's a sin. Like confusion almost. Which I think is normal if that's what you've grown up hearing forever.
Sure, and it leads, the biggest thing for me is I think that scene is so important to the story because you get a scene immediately after that with the father in the story, which just talking about the father, oh my god, one of the best side characters in any coming-of-age film.
I know, I loved him.
He doesn't even do that much. That guy is just amazing.
I know, seriously.
Oh man, yeah, Mr. Chu just eats up the scenery because guess what? Cinephile himself just films, and I just love the casual part where just every movie he's like, best part, like you gotta watch this one scene, like, and she's like, Dad, like you need to be learning English. Why are you watching French cinema? Shh. Art. Like, this is a true film.
Our king.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
what that sort of leads to is these characters, and he sort of thinks like they're in a sort of relationship, a cute little like
Mm.
starting out relationship, and just along the way, things that like is built on that relationship of this kid and this girl's father is that he actually like really loves taco sausage, which is the stupidest thing I have ever heard. But I
It's
was
so
so
stupid.
on
I do want
board.
to try it.
I know. I was like, I wish I could try that, but I am a vegetarian.
Well, we can get you a vegan taco sausage.
Yeah.
True.
We'll
Yeah.
put it in the works.
Yeah.
I'm sure Paul has that.
There's like a
And
yeah. There's vegan sausages.
the way they sort of something so insignificant as that, they make it so significant to the character of Paul. And I get it's dumb. I understand it's dumb. But I was literally like crying because there's a scene where he finds these letters she's gonna send off to these food companies about his taco sausage. Someone's believing in him, and like first time he's ever seen that, and I don't know. I was like almost awestruck that a cheesy coming of age film, almost a teen romance type thing, was getting me in the feels about taco sausage.
I know.
You know, that's what love is, putting the effort into write letters to companies.
Yeah. I also really loved. Oh, sorry. I also really loved Aster. I feel like we haven't talked about her a lot. Because I feel like she was kind of like I feel like the movie tricks you where it's like going to be all about her, and then it ends up being about those two like just becoming friends. But I did really love Aster. I think that she had like a really good personality. And one of my favorite scenes is the scene where they're like spray painting on that wall together, and that's like how they were first like communicating. And I just thought it was so cute and creative and sweet, and I was just like obsessed with it.
That's when I was like, okay, this is a movie. Like this is but the scene that I went on a complete tangent earlier. Just to bring back the scene that was necessary for that. Paul's sort of confused about this friend that he's sort of known as one thing, and he sort of has romantic feelings for. It sets up him talking to her father. And I thought it was so, because again, it's meticulous in how she's the director is balancing all these moving parts. Get to that scene where the father really doesn't know how to word like what he's trying to say to him, but he knows in Mandarin like this is what you need to hear about her. Like you need to know, I want her to be everything she is and not change for anyone and not hide herself. So he just says that in Mandarin, and it's obviously Paul doesn't know Mandarin in any way.
Yeah,
it's this beautiful understanding, of him understanding exactly in that look in his eyes of what he's meaning. I thought that was filmmaking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I loved that.
And just another scene. Obviously, Lindsay sort of brought this up. Just the whole hot spring. Yeah, it just it taps into that innate beauty of swimming.
Oh my god, I loved it so much. Anytime there's a scene where someone's just floating in water or floating underwater, like I'm just gonna love it. It's one of my favorite things that like modern filmmakers keep doing in every movie, but I'm like, keep doing it.
Like two waters belly up. You know what scene I really love? Like the train scene, like actually really had me in tears.
Same. Oh my god, I was tearing up.
So the thing is, it's so it could be something so cliche, but they've built it to be something so different than what the scene they show is. And just the whole thing of they bring that up, and when the scene happens while they're watching it, and Paul's like, wow, like that guy's the best, like that guy's doing the best show of affection ever. And Of course, she's like, "That's the stupidest guy I've ever seen."
Yes.
Her like loving this dumb idiot, like, and realizing they're best friends, like
Yeah.
it's wonderful.
Oh, but then like he's like, oh, she looks sad, and then oh god, and then she like Ellie looks sad, and I think in that moment maybe she gets it, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe she gets the grand moment. I really love that.
I know. I like completely forgot about the movie that they were watching when they were like just talking on the platform, and then as soon as like we got that shot of her in the window, I was like, oh my god, they're gonna do like a whole thing. And it's so good.
Again, it's just so nice that like seeing like that exists now, where it's like, oh well, he's not running to win the girl over. He's running because like this person as a friend, like he wants whatever's best for her and her. I don't know. It's beautiful. Chef's kiss.
Yeah.
Beautiful stuff.
Yeah, no, he was
Yeah.
professing a platonic love.
Yeah. The other part that I was going to mention, whole proposal thing, is
Oh god.
absolutely ridiculous. And they've
So
built
ridiculous.
They've built this mega Chad of a character up so well. Because at first,
I know, he was hilarious.
at first I was like, okay, well, is this going to be a real person? And very early on in the movie, it tells you, no, this guy is a fictitious man. That is like all the culminations of Chad and bro culture tropes into one.
It's Chad v. Himbo, man.
Really, like genuinely.
This film said himbo rights, and oh man, yeah, no, one of the stupidest scenes where he's like, I know what's going on, and you're like, oh no, and he's like, you really like me, and it's like, dude, what? Like,
He's so in his own world.
I know. That's the best part about it is he even thinks like when he gets sprayed by the hose, he's like, well, she still loves me. Her father just got in the way.
Oh, you know what that church scene really reminded me of? When Ellie was like screaming no, right?
Mm-hmm.
The ending of The Graduate.
Oh, I've never seen The Graduate.
Dustin Hoffman is just it's just gonna run away with the bride, you know?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
definitely has some
actually,
similarities
I
to that.
really loved her speech. Like a lot of it, I was like, I can see why people would call it pretentious, but I was eating it up. I was just like, I'm eating so well right now. When she was just like, love is messy, and I was just like, yes, queen.
It's funny because like it builds that to have this even more like Chad character start out with what love is to him, and of course, like I knew immediately as soon as he starts with love is, and I knew, I was like, he is proposing right now. That is insane. And then you have this character in Paul that to bat for her at first, and again, he's not good at talking like at all. But he's trying his best to like convey, hey, it's okay I'm cool with who you are, like I just want my friend back. Then you, of course, like you were saying, Lindsay, you get this amazing speech from her that I think is her finally coming out of her shell, and just that almost metamorphosis of just her being confident in herself. Which of course goes to immediate absurdist comedy. Get slapped, and then everybody's arguing, and then you hear Paul's mom saying, you know, honey, it's okay if you're gay. I will love you. And he's like, Mom, I'm not gay, but I do want to change the sausage recipe. And she's like, how dare you? And like,
How the fuck could you?
It's such a again, it's such a stupid idea, but it works so well.
I know, it was really good. Yeah, because it like broke that kind of tension that the like big monologue speech had, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it worked.
And I like that, like there's almost like a hope of, okay, well, at least we get this moment where these two characters that had this just almost secretive love for one another in Aster and Ellie. They get that one moment of euphoria, and even though it's one moment, it's them being like being okay with this love that they have for each other, even if, like, clearly, let's be honest, it's probably not. They're not gonna meet each. Well, I don't know. They might. We might get a to all the boys I love too of this. We'll get the full of it is gonna be the
oh my god, the full
God.
Oh my god.
Hopefully we get
no,
Alice
I
Wu
hope
returning.
I hope we at least get another Alice Wu movie before 14 years later. Please don't leave me again, Queen.
I haven't seen the other project, so.
Oh, Saving Face is one of my favorite movies ever. I love it so much.
To go to that now.
It's a lot different than this. But yeah, there's a lot of similarities with the main character.
Oh, for sure. Do y'all have any other scenes you want to bring up specifically?
I have one. It's not that big, but I just appreciate this film and To All the Boys I've Loved Before putting out this propaganda that Yakult is this amazing drink. When
oh my god,
it is only amazing if you grew up with it. I don't think people would like it. It's a probiotic
That's so
yogurt.
funny. I've never had it before.
I've never had it either.
I could drink like 40 of those, but I don't recommend it to people.
My girlfriend got genuinely giddy when that showed up in the movie.
Me too.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
Me too. Look, I'm just saying.
No, I get the same euphoria when I see a man in his 20s wearing shorts in a film. It's just
oh my god.
Representation matters.
Oh my god. Oh man.
Not enough of jorts in this movie.
No jort representation.
The part that I was gonna mention, there's two, and I think they're very important moments to their friendship that I'll just throw out, finish this up. One, immediately where the friendship starts building, which I forgot to mention, is every time Paul like chases down Ellie, but there's this one moment where everybody calls like Ellie choo-choo train or something stupid like that because he doesn't have like Smith as her name. I don't know. It's ridiculous. They're bumpkins. But like they constantly say that, and then Paul like stands up for her, and I don't know. That's the moment where I was like, yeah, I get like the scene with the painting is where I was like, no, this is cinema. But that's where like the movie won me over. It's like, okay, this is what we're gearing up towards to where it's almost it's going to be a difficult dynamic to where really likes this girl, but it's complete and utter lust, like from his perspective. But he also like still likes this other person because he has this. He's actually falling in love with Ellie because he's getting to know who she is, and not really knowing who Aster is because he doesn't get to actually have conversations with her. I think that's where that starts building, where it's like, okay, well, this is the friendship that's going to start building, and he stands up for her. And then the second scene that I was going to mention, the football game. Of course, y'all probably don't know this, which is fine. The football play that they do is completely illegal. You're not allowed to do a forward pass like that. However, it doesn't matter because what the scene sets up after that, where Paul scores, and yes, he does look at Aster, but I think what the film makes very important there is there's more joy when he's looking at Ellie, and it's almost that's where the flip is, where it's like, well, I know this person. I thought I knew what I wanted with Aster, but again, it's what Ellie's telling him the whole time. It's like, well, like, why do you like her? And when he starts out at first, it's like, well, she's very pretty, and he smells like flower. That's a direct quote from this genius auteur and Paul.
No, wait. He said freshly ground flowers, which I don't understand. Was that meant to be like freshly ground coffee and flowers? Or
I know, I was like, who grinds flowers?
Also, another. Sorry, this was just a scene that I forgot to mention. The part where she's saying, or Paul's saying, "Well, we gotta send her emojis, bro," which is direct reference to the Emoji Movie. We can all admit. Anyway, emojis he chooses is like something stupid like caterpillar, skateboard, and lobster, or something. I can't even remember what it is. Just built up these quotes to show up almost as like starts to a chapter, and you have these 3 emojis come back to start a chapter. I thought was like such a good reference to bring back to, and it just says multiple sources. Like, I don't know, this movie is brilliant.
So
I don't know
great.
if y'all have any other scenes you want to mention.
I think we've covered a lot of the big ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that's gonna do it. If y'all have any other scenes, or if you just want to discuss the half of it, feel free to leave a comment. I'd love to hear people talk about this film, just because every movie has to be Extraction, just for example, because I found that movie a little bit boring, but that's fine if you like Extraction. If you want to talk about the half of it, feel free to do so down below. Full spoilers in the comments. I don't know why someone would check the comments for a spoiler discussion, but that's going to do it. Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you, Turtle. You guys are the best.
Thank you, hey.
Thank you.
Bye
You are too. Bye.
Bye.
bye.